Hello. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
How y'all doing?
I'm doing good. How
It,
how is everybody else doing? And does everyone look and sound okay?
yeah. If somebody's sound is too high and Colton, I assume you're frozen on my
Uh,
end.
am I?
Yeah. Is
Can
that
you hear me? Uh,
uh-oh.
uh,
We can hear you.
Anyway, welcome to Monday evening. How is everybody?
Yeah.
Oh,
Buckeye. Hello. Hiawatha. Yeah. Ah, you love the intro. This intro is actually for when Brain Bungler gets it set up. He's going to be doing this from his end, and this will be Humanetics. Um, but because he's not all the way set up yet, um,
trying to get my headphones.
you're good. You're good. Um, because he's not all the way set up yet, we're gonna do it from here until he's ready. But y'all, there was some I don't know terrifying stuff in the news today, and y'all might have seen some of it. But you know, this is the thing. I sent all this information to the Bungler and Koaltun, and here's the thing. You know how I am. I start doing. I start asking my questions. Why? Well, what does this mean? Like, what's going on? Is this just one of these crazy things that happened, or are we going somewhere with this? And the more I dug, the sicker I got. Okay, just the sicker I got. All right. Colton, say something. Colton? Colton?
hello. He'll be here. He'll make it.
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. I thought I was going to have to push this live back because we were having so many problems. But I'm just happy I'm using StreamYard on dark mode, and that makes me happy. Uh
I actually like using it on light mode because I have yet to purchase another light source, and so I have it on light mode, and it's giving me a little bit of but we'll get there.
yeah. That's okay. I'm going to go ahead and start because I know people want to see. What are you doing? What is that? Bungler? What
Me?
is that? Yes, you've got something in the corner up there.
Oh, this is on my. Oh goodness, this is actually showing my my main monitor. So it was just my display, but now it's actually showing the whole thing here. I tell you what, I'll just remove
I wish
that.
I could do tricks. Okay, Colton, can you hear? Can you hear Colton?
He'll be able to hear eventually. He'll get there.
Uh,
So go ahead.
I'm going to type.
Okay. I guess it's a little too late to start later, huh? See y'all in 30 minutes when we get this fixed.
Oh, no, sorry. All right. And I know he's going to have a lot of good things to say. Oh,
I can hear you now.
oh, cool. All right. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to talk about the news. What scared me this morning? Okay. So I wake up to this right here. A flash sale. No.
That's a good morning. Any chance I can wake up to one of those?
Let's see. How do I get there? Is that moving on StreamYard? I don't even know. It is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. We started out with USA Today. National Public Data confirms massive data breach included social security numbers. Okay. Well, we're used to data breaches a lot. And so, at first, I was not, having a breakdown. I'm like, oh, well, crap. I've been I mean, have y'all ever gotten a notice from your bank or from somewhere that you're in a data breach? I have a bunch of times.
Wait, you've gotten notices from your bank that you're in a data breach?
Uh-huh. Mhm.
That
Yeah,
doesn't
one
sound right.
yeah, one time, they just sent me a new debit card, and I get it in the mail. I'm like, "What's this for?" And they're like, "Oh, FYI, you're in a data breach, so we have given you a new card." I'm like, "Great. How long have I been here?" I don't even know.
Well, then.
But so, I'm looking at this, and yeah, it says, the National Public Data, which aggregates data to provide background checks, has confirmed it suffered a massive data breach involving social security numbers and other personal data on millions of Americans. Now, here is the thing though. Um, it's not just your number, it's your address, it's like all your personal information, okay? And I'm like, okay, well, that is getting a little concerning because I don't want my address, certainly, out there. Oh,
You
but it get
don't? But what
yeah,
about surprise visitors and
I
friendly
know.
people?
There are no friendly people. I'm gonna make this bigger. Is that better?
A little bit. Yeah.
I can keep going. All right. So anyway, um, the Coral Springs, Florida company posted there appears to have been a data security incident.
Whoopsie poopsie.
My whole life is in somebody else's hands. Thank you. But let's go on down to the second paragraph right here where it says 2.9 billion records, including names, addresses, social security numbers, and relatives dating back to at least 3 decades. Oh my gosh. So they know who your mama is, they know who your granddaddy is. It like and let me just tell you why this is concerning, but we haven't even touched on why it's really concerning. But it's concerning because when you put in they ask you for security questions, what's your mama's maiden name? Yeah. Well, now they have access to 3 generations. So they can figure out who you are and all this kind of stuff. And so I'm like, okay, this is not sounding good. This is getting worse than I thought. Uh and It says, okay, why should we be worried? Well, we should be worried. Let me say this, not just because of our personal data, but okay, there's a lot of companies out here that do, like what is it called, LifeLock or something like that. I don't know. I don't use it, but they're supposed to protect your data up to $100,000. But this means not only, okay, this is just the very bottom, scratching the surface. They can open up credit cards in your name. They can buy a car. They can buy a house. Like, look, they can, make an ID. They've got you down for 3 generations: name, address, social, date of birth, the whole thing. All right. So now
Yeah.
everybody's got to be, at first I'm like, okay, great. That they're talking about, and we're going to go just in a little bit to, what you should do. I'm going to take you to irs.gov and throw these links in here. Actually, let me throw this link in chat too, just so you can read the whole article, because I wasn't, I'm like, okay, this is going to be aggravating. I'm going to have to check a whole lot, make sure nobody's opened any accounts in my name, blah, blah, blah. But the rabbit hole, it goes far, far worse than that. Hello, Kathy S. Samantha. Hello, hello. Just don't want to miss anybody. I know I'm behind. So now, uh, we obviously need to protect our credit. I just want to make sure. Oh yeah, there you can do something that's called, you can freeze your credit report, but I'm just telling you, it's a big pain. I had to do that one time. And it's a big pain to get it back. I'm just telling, like, you can take it, you can steal it easy, but you can't get it back. All right, this was a cyber criminal group called the USDOD. These are the people. Now, it is selling your information on the dark web. Isn't that fun? The dark web people can get it. All right.
The dark web people. I
The
actually
dark.
watched. I got the opportunity to watch a pretty cool documentary about the dark web earlier, so I can talk a little bit about it
Ah,
if it comes up.
well,
But
it may come up. It may come up.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Kathy,
also oh my
go
bad.
ahead.
I also I found a guy that uh who claims that he is the one who first found this data breach and reported it, I guess, when it was this is a hacker or something, also a YouTuber, but he's a hacker, and he apparently in one of the hacker forums, this guy had been trying to sell it for, he tried to sell it for 3.5 million, but later decided to give it away to gain some notoriety in the hacking community.
that way,
Wow.
so next time he performs a massive hack, people will be like, "I remember this guy. I have to
Yeah.
pay 3.5 million to get this, or whatever."
Yeah. Well, he's going to be a huge, he's going to get paid much bigger bucks, I guess, now that they figured out, what you want to know. He'll figure it out. Yeah, you have to pay him $10 million, but what's it worth to you?
Wait, so Colton, what you're saying is that he did this just for money and then gave up and then did it for clout? Like it wasn't like a pointed attack, or
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. He ended up just, like mom said, usually the companies that will hire like these head security guys are usually like hackers, like they'll hire the best hackers they can find to build security systems.
yeah, what oh, there's a name for those guys, and it's a really cool word, or a really cool name, but I can't remember what it is. Um, like security defense breachers, or like private
Cyber,
offense,
cyber
like
security.
offensive security, something like that. I don't remember,
I don't
but
know, but uh, from what I heard, from what he said, it wasn't quite 3 million or quite the 2.9 billion that they had claimed. It was over 2 billion for sure. But apparently it had their, what was it, social security number, your name, your address, and phone number or something else.
Three generations back, your mama's name, your daddy's name, for three generations. So that's going to get a lot of people into your security questions for your account.
yeah, well, I tell you this, I don't use my mother's maiden name. I use like really vague things, like what was the name of your favorite book you read in third grade? And I'd be like, it was Ginger Pie. Oh no, don't use that against me. Anyway, but I think that's kind of like if there's a silver lining at all, I think that it would be that the size of the breach and that it wasn't like it wasn't a pointed attack means that, like, while yeah, it is bad, it certainly isn't like, I guess there's like a lower chance that you get targeted because there's so many other available targets, you know? So if you have a lower net worth, maybe you're safer, right? Poor folks are safe. Maybe.
Well, maybe, but not really. I mean, because they could hack into your medical, they could hack into your insurance. Um, there's really no end to what they could hack into. Uh, so let me bring this up, okay? Let me let you all know really quick, because we're going a lot of different places in this discussion of what is actually going on. So let me do what I said I was gonna do. Um, and let me make this bigger. Let me drop this link. It is important. Um, if you just realized today that you are in a security breach at over 2 billion people, that's going to be the vast majority of us. I really do think of people who are, um, you know, using credit, is still working, whatever. But I mean, look, you could get, a lot of times this is a question for your bank accounts. What was your mother's maiden name? This kind of stuff goes on security. So let me show you this. I dropped that link in there. Make this bigger. All right, how to transition your Social Security account into to login.gov. Now, I have my issues because I trust no one, especially if it's a .gov. But it says if you created a Social Security username more than 3 years ago or yesterday, thank you, hackers, then you might want to go in and set up an account here. There are lots of different things, frauds and scams. You'll see that where it's right here. Let me highlight this, and general questions, stuff like that to keep you safe. So, I would do that. Just y'all need to go and do this today. The government already knows who you are. I mean, I'm a little bit like, I don't know. I don't know about all this, but I don't trust you either. It's like, the government, the hackers. Who do I trust? Neither. But, to save
That's
yourself
pretty
some
fair.
frustration. Yeah. But to save yourself some stress, some frustration.
Frustration. Stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Go
Stuff
ahead
crust.
and log in
Pizza.
there. And if you are on chat, the thing is down in the address is down there. But anyway, do go do that. All right. So I know y'all are probably not as worried about this as I am. Let me see. No to a hello, Kelly. No to anything. Government period. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree about that. With that.
Okay. Buckeye says the numbers are dodgy. There are only 330 million Americans, so they must be talking about pieces of info. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
And
Or
this
are
was
they?
they had hacked. It was more than just Americans. It was UK, and there was another big country. Or where? Shoot, what was the other one? It wasn't Australia. Hold up.
So it was America, the UK, and some other folks. So this
Yeah.
is a
Because they're
worldwide.
only like, yeah, isn't there
In
only like,
Canada, US, UK, and Canada.
What server was all this all this information localized on, or how?
It was found. I mean, they put it on a. They posted all the info for free, or like all the files on the dark web on a hacking forum. So it was there for any hacker to use or have. So
How long was it there? Does anyone know? How long did it sit there with all those files being
it's
available?
been weeks or months.
that's true.
Yeah,
So,
it's
is there any word on again, like, was it one server that had been hacked, like one location, or was it like multiple information servers that were?
Yeah, it was a. It was. I forget what it was. I forget the exact company, but they did like background checks, and they had all this information they had scraped from different places on the internet, and they used all this information for people to come and pay for their service to get background checks, and they leaked all the information.
Oh, okay.
So now there is a huge class action lawsuit against them, and
As there
it's a
should be.
possibility you could be entitled to compensation, but
you could be entitled to compensation. Good luck.
If you or a loved one have
Yeah,
been diagnosed with mesothelioma, you or a loved one may be entitled to financial compensation.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck. Because okay, so I'm like, the first thing I start thinking is, so this we actually knew about this. This has been a few weeks or a couple of months. Like it's been a hot minute, okay? But they're just now telling us, oh, oopsie,
either
data
way,
breach. Yeah. As somebody else has already purchased 2 cars in my name, not really. But, it's like, okay, well, this would have been good information to know last month. Fine. So,
I would have loved to know about this a while ago, but now
yeah.
is also fine.
Okay. Samantha says, well, if somebody buys a better house than what I have, me and all my fur kids are going to squatting. Yeah. Okay, so the way my brain works, and probably the way y'all's brain works, is I began to think, this is very interesting. It is interesting timing. Okay. Very interesting. What are you doing? You're driving me nuts
Ignore
with that thing.
me.
I can't. But anyway, I was thinking there's got to be something. Okay, it's not just a data breach because it's just we're right before an election. We've had all of this, and you know, the last thing that Colton and I talked about was they were saying there's going to be this and the assassination attempt and then a false flag and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay, interesting. Now, there is something that is traditionally called an October surprise in election years. And that's usually,
Lower
That's
gas prices and
yes, yes.
okay.
yeah,
Something like
the country
okay.
actually the economy is great for the last 4 years. Turns out you're
Yeah,
all just crazy.
yeah. Exactly. Exactly. But that's we always have something. And I was just telling Jamboree the other day, she was saying something about the price of gas. I said, hold on till, closer to election, by November or like the first week in November, you're gonna see record low prices like for the past 4 years. Like it's gonna drop, like we're gonna be good. And then once the election, you might be okay over Christmas, and then boom, January hits. They're going to start going up. Um, but yeah, we always have that, and then they usually try to throw out some big news it's in the October surprise. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. But yeah, me going down the rabbit hole. All right, let me share this. Um, all right. Well, we're going to talk about. Hold on, let me share something else first, and I'll probably go back to it again. Um, so what I do is I have my sources. I have places that I go, and I
Where are
look
those
at things that
places?
people are saying, and it's not your regular stuff. So I started on X. All right, I started with General Mike Flynn. So let me make this one bigger too. He posted on X. So if you're on X, you might want to follow Mike Flynn. He does have a lot of good information. So this means more than 85% of the world's population will move to a form of central bank digital currency backed by gold. For all those experiencing a presidential year October surprise from one of the two political parties, forget it. Instead, this is it. And given the clueless and pathetically weak leaders in this White House, they are incapable of doing anything about it. All right. So they were talking about BRICS, and 159 countries are ready to accept the BRICS payment system. Now, before we get into BRICS, let me say this. Okay, you've got the breach. People are panicking. So how, let's say your data is like it's already breached. You can close it off again, but it's still out there. And guess what? It's going to keep living out there. That's going to affect your income and your money. So, think. What would be the solution to this? What would you do, Brain Bungler?
I, but this I don't. This isn't something I normally
I can't hear you. What would you do, Colton?
I'm sorry,
I
I
can't hear anybody
I
now.
missed the last part of the question.
Can
I'm
y'all hear
sorry.
him?
Can you hear me? Hello?
I don't know what happened.
Hello? Can anybody hear me? Uh,
Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes, you can. Okay, I have no idea what y'all are saying. Hold on, let me pop out.
Oh, they hear us all. Can you hear
Oh.
me? I hear both of you.
Okay.
Can y'all hear
I
me?
can't hear.
Mm.
Let me try. I hope I don't get feedback, but let me try this.
Sorry about this, guys. Little technical difficulties.
It's all part of the growing process.
Sorry, y'all. This is just crazy.
Sorry about this, guys.
Woo! Dude, I need to make a checklist for
Yeah.
all the things that we can get, all the little tiny mistakes we can make.
Wait, I'm
Okay.
okay. I think I'm on a delay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
it's going to be a very large delay. It's going to be awkward.
so you can't hear through. Okay, all right. So
Yeah. I think what I may have to do, I don't know what to do, actually. I really don't know what to do. I can back out, but I think StreamYard will still keep going. I don't know.
I think
It's
it
worth a
will.
shot.
Try it. Try it.
I think I can remove myself.
Well, she can't hear us.
Me to me
Sorry,
every
I know
day.
y'all are getting an echo now.
I think I can remove myself.
Hold on, let me check all my settings. It's not coming through my system. There, can you hear audio from a browser tab? Maybe.
It would probably still
Let
be
me see
pretty
here.
delayed.
Let me get somewhere else.
Can you hear me, Josiah?
I can hear you. You can hear me?
Oh.
Hold on.
Can she
y'all.
hear you? Oh, she can't hear
No.
either one of us. Okay.
What was exactly the question that she was asking?
I'm trying to see if I can hear off of here, but I can't. Oh, wait. Yes. I'm trying to see if I can hear off of here.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
I'm on a delay though.
Can you hear us?
I'm on a delay though.
What fun. Okay.
Hey, if you can hear me, just restart yours because
I
we'll stay
can
in here.
hear you off the other browser. Hold on.
If you can hear me, just restart yours. We'll stay in here.
I think it's gonna. If I restart it, is it gonna shut down StreamYard though?
No, I don't think so. Because you did it before.
Oh, what's the first thing that you two would do? Okay, that's what I thought the question was, but I thought that there was I thought there was something specific about it. So I mean, the first thing you need to do is comb your memory and see if you have think about all if you have the same password for everything, and also think about if you use the same security question for everything. But really, all I did was I just rationalized it. You know what I mean? Like I just said, okay, well, at least there's a lot of people who have this problem, so I'm probably safe. I figure they'll go for somebody like Ted Cruz or Mr. Beast or something. I don't think I'm in a whole lot of danger. Don't have a particularly huge net worth, but I guess that's the thing. I think there's inherently a risk with hacking in general, so I'm inclined to think that you're at less of a risk as a citizen if you aren't well known. I think that's kind of the ironic thing about identity breach and data collection is that someone has to know who you are before they can take your information. A bit of irony there, but
Hey, can you
Okay.
hear us?
Yeah,
Welcome back.
I had to go back to Chrome. That's the only way I could do it. I don't know what's wrong. Oh well. Okay. Sorry for all that craziness. I don't know. All right, so my yeah, I couldn't hear anything, and mine literally just went out for whatever reason. I did everything. I even talked to, even put in a ticket to Opera this week, and I said, "Hey, look, y'all, I'm having this problem," and they're like, "Oh," they gave me the standard. Is your mic and camera plugged up? Do you have it set right?
Well, I mean,
No.
okay, but to be fair, like in 90% of cases, uh, server side IT people, when they ask, "Is this plugged in? Have you tried to restart it?" That solves the problem literally like 95% of the time. And then the rest of the time, it's like, "Oh, we need to add some code or something." But
Yeah.
for what it's worth, Opera is a Chromium-based browser, so it should work the same as Google Chrome. But
You would
whatever.
think. I don't know. It was fine. It was great, and now it's not. So,
Well,
um,
we'll figure it out in the coming time that passes.
okay. Here was the question that I have to ask you again because I didn't hear the answer.
I'm gonna have to answer it again because Laura's got your back. She's got all of our backs. She asked the question,
Oh,
and
what did she ask?
she rephrased it or restated it exactly. She had asked,
She said,
uh,
"In light of the news
yeah,
of the breach, what's the first thing you two would do?"
yeah, and I basically said, comb your memory for how many related pass like if you use the same password everywhere. Try to remember what you if you use the same security question everywhere, and then fix those things. And then but then I said the thing that I did immediately was rationalize it and say, well, there's a lot of people at risk, so I'm probably safe. If you only got if there's a fisherman with just a fishing hook, and I'm in a school of fish, my chances are really high that I'm not gonna get snatched up. Now, if it was a net, that's a different story. I might be in a bit of danger there, but anyway.
Okay, but what I meant is if you're the government, okay,
Oh, if
if
I'm the
you
government,
yes, and you have this huge social security breach, and it's going to affect everybody's credit and everybody's whole living. What would be the solution to that?
I'd say sorry and blame it on somebody like
Yeah.
immediately.
Well, I'm sure that'll happen too.
Yeah, I mean, point fingers. Say that I don't know. Say that the website was coded by the opposing party. The Republicans, they don't understand technology. Oh,
Okay, but we're
okay.
talking about our currency. Talking about this huge data thing and all this. So, what would be the safest way to make actions and keep your stuff super encrypted?
To make what would be the safest way to do what and keep your stuff super encrypted?
Transactions like you paying your bills.
Oh,
How
well,
would what would
You
be
could
better?
say you could say crypto, but crypto is getting more and more regulated as time goes on too.
regulated in what sense?
As far as like, uh, well, all the like, I don't know, all the government sites. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of like back page sites or whatever, but all the government sites are, uh, I don't know, like I don't know. You see all the like new regulations they put on the apps like Coinbase and every broker for crypto. So it for one makes it. I mean, unless you find a brokerage that you can buy and sell crypto through that doesn't keep any of your information.
Well,
Yeah, that's go ahead.
I was going to say, and the government is also buying up. If you remember a few years back, and it's been, oh, I don't know, I was still with Wells Fargo, so that was before 2021 or 2022, something like that. Um, they were buying crypto, they were buying Bitcoin like crazy, like buying millions and billions of dollars, and I'm sure the other banks were doing that as well because they got to have a backup too. They know they're gonna they know they're gonna they're going to fold at some time, at some point. So, you know, they're not going to go broke. They know what they're doing.
Well, so you could. This is kind of a whole nother topic, but I think I kind of think I know where you're going with this. But look, I think Social Security in itself is a scam, and
That's a hot take. Let's hear it.
well,
What about it, do you think?
well, it's just not sustainable anymore. So what it was created during the Great Depression, and back then the average life expectancy was what, like 60, and so they made it 65 and older you could get Social Security, and now people are living, like the average life expectancy is 15 years higher than it was back then, and I don't know, it's the young people like us, right, that pay into the system, and now there's not enough young working people to cover. Like now there's an exponentially larger amount of older people than there are younger people, right, as far as like this what you need for a Social Security system to work. And so a lot of people criticize it and call it a Ponzi scheme, because it kind of is.
Well, the thing about it that is so irritating to me, and I don't know why, but I know they do this with a lot of taxes, but specifically for Social Security, they do not separate it when they're building their budget. They don't set it in a separate file or different fund. They literally add it to their entire budget, and then they pour back into it towards the end of the year or something like that. Which is, I mean, I guess you could argue down the line in nuance that has some definitive purpose, but like that has got to be the most ridiculous idea and most unsustainable idea that I could possibly imagine. Regardless of the intended purpose of the Social Security fund, like, you could have said it was for anything, apples for everybody. But if you're pouring into it and then you're just adding that to your yearly budget, and then you just put back in later, well, eventually you're going to find yourself in a situation where you, oopsie daisy, pulled out a little bit more than you could refill. And I just, I think that coupled with, so it's not like a sustained fund. It's not like a pool that's constantly being filled. It's a well that they draw from and then return to,
Well, and the thing of it is let's say you start working at age 18, although most kids start before that. You're paying that in for, about what, 50 years, and so, or 40, 50 years? I can't count. During that time, let's say if you put that money in a savings account or, an investment of some kind that was guaranteed, they take your money for all these years. And, even if they were putting it aside, they would get interest on it. Like they're making money off of your money that you hope to God is going to be there when it's time to retire. So
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's not like a lot of people think that you pay into Social Security and it goes in there and you're going to get back what you put in, but that's not the case. You don't put your money in there and they put your name on it and save it for you.
Nope.
No.
Which is funny because that is the same as just using a bank, kind of. I guess the theory was that your funds would be more than every FDIC insured bank could, in case of, but like, and so it was decided to be government ended. But like, I just, it's one of those things where now that there are problems, you can go, wait, how did why did they? What do you mean they did it like this?
Yeah, exactly. Who was in charge?
Yeah,
They need to be fired. Of
really,
course,
though.
they're dead now, but
that's
yeah,
another problem. You can't arrest a dead man. So
yeah, and it is for us when we retire, so we have something to live on. But there have been so many scares throughout the years of, Social Security isn't going to be there, and I'm like, why isn't going to be there? Because people are still paying in. Like, what are you doing with my money? government. Uh, how can it not be there? That's
Yeah,
isn't
because it
that
never was
fraud?
really. I
Yeah,
mean, it was very
right.
temporary.
Yeah. So I mean, so the thing of it is, and we get off on Social Security, but uh, of course, now that there's a breach, they can, you know, identify themselves as you. Somebody can really become you if they've got all your info and social media and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, and they're looking at crypto, and I'm looking at so Russia has a solution. Okay.
Ooh, I love when Russia has an idea. That always is
I know. So
fun.
they have the BRICS payment system. Okay. And yeah, and there are a lot of different cryptos. I think that there's a good chance that Bitcoin will be up there. And I know some of y'all were saying, you don't trust Bitcoin. I don't trust anything, but I will tell you this: I have done stuff with Bitcoin and traded and whatever. It immediately shows up just kind of like your bank account does when you use your debit card, and then you go back to your online stuff. And you're like, oh yeah, I just spent that money. It is there. Um, and of course, right now you put dollars into crypto. Okay, but they have decided that they want to have their own global trade payment system. And it's an alternative to America's SWIFT program, which I don't know anything about the SWIFT program, but this is called BRICS. And if you're wondering, that is because now there are more countries added now, but the first ones were Brazil, Russia, I think it's India,
Yeah.
and then what is the C? The S is South. Oh my gosh, I had this all pulled up at one time. Anyway, it's really well. It's outside of Russia. It's not any of the what we would. Oh, China. Is it China? I think it is
I
China.
think it is China. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, these companies got together and they said, okay, we don't like the West. And I don't know if I've got this article uh, pulled up, but basically it was made because it was Putin, this guy right here. And I have mixed feelings about him. I really do. But he really did. He didn't want the West, the Western countries to be the most powerful and for everybody to do it our way. It was really to devalue our system. um and this is as you see here, it's to be without relying much on the US dollar. Well, we've already got 159 countries that are ready to say, yeah, let's go BRICS. And so, interestingly enough, though, I found this. Talk about Putin is something else. I'm just telling you. Um, you know how people are complaining that we're welcoming all these people, all these refugees, whatever, into our country. Putin has extended an invitation that y'all need to look at. Um, Is it up there? Yeah, it's up there. Okay. Breaking news. This is from Alex Jones, but it has the source down here. Um, yeah, Putin just dropped a bombshell decree inviting people from across the globe who are fed up with the globalist neoliberal nightmare to seek sanctuary in traditional Russia. So y'all, look, what are they going to give us if we go over there? I'm like, what? What the heck?
Yeah, because one of the I've always wanted to live in a frozen hellish landscape, but I never wanted to learn Russian, and now my dreams have come true.
I
So I'll be
know.
seeing you guys. I'm
Yeah,
I'm going to
right.
Russia.
I know, right? Because here it says the Russian government is about to compile a list of countries poisoning minds with these twisted ideals, and so they think that
Wait,
we are just doing it wrong.
go back to that last little bit there. Yeah, let me take one more look at that. I heard. Now, I don't. This is all like unfounded. Whatever. This is speculation at best. Okay, but I heard from a guy who takes a lot of priority in uncovering the truth about things, kind of type of dude. And when Russia invaded Ukraine, he said he had stumbled across an article. It was more than an article, though. Articles are just like, here's what happened. But he said that there is like a more or less a document, kind of explaining how and why Russia was essentially fighting against one world government. That's not YouTube banned terminology yet, is it?
I don't know. It could be.
He basically was like the last leader in the world, standing up against the New World Order or whatever, that wrestling group from the 90s. And that would actually make a lot of sense considering knowing who Putin is, because he is very power hungry, kind of like he's very comfortable with his control. I could totally see, like, if there was gonna be a leader who's like, I don't want to join the I want to stay the leader of Russia or whatever. That would definitely be Putin. And so, reading this now, it almost makes that feel a little bit more true or possible or plausible. That he's like, yeah, we basically want to make a group of people that align with me and people that don't. And then, instead of it just being like Republicans and Democrats in America, it can be like two big, I don't know what you'd even call them, I guess. But on a world stage, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think about one world government? Yay, nay,
No, never.
bop, flop,
Never. Flop.
hit or
Never.
miss? Why don't you
Why?
want one?
Why? Why would somebody why would somebody do so but look, that's where we are going. That's where we're headed. All right. I'm going to take you back to General Flynn. So he is saying, because of all of the stuff going on, and we already know that they're trying to push for the central bank to go back to currency backed by gold, which they never should have gone off of. Okay. They just started printing money. It's like, okay, we're just going to start creating it here. We haven't been backed by gold for a very, very long time. But now, if we have such to go back to the gold standard, like, it's going to do crazy things, as you can imagine, with the economy.
We'd have to find a lot of gold, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, too bad.
We could go to the cheese standard. There's like millions of pounds of cheese hidden underneath the United States. You know that, right? That's an actual true thing. There are millions and millions of pounds of cheese in caves under the U.S. owned by the government.
I'm not opposed to trading in cheese. I just, I like cheese.
Yeah, I mean, every time you get hungry and you think about adding a slice to your sandwich, it's the same as, I would be like, I really want like a Big Mac, large, but is it, worth an hour of my work? Like, if you say, what is it, say, I don't know, $10 an hour or whatever, you're like, is this worth being at work for one full hour? But now you're just eating, it's just with cheese. Is this worth, however many chickens I could buy with this wheel of cheese?
But wheels of cheese are just not practical to carry around. Although
no, but they'd come up with a cheese coin and they'd stamp it with wax. And I don't know. You have to keep them out of your car, but
I No, but the point is, General Flynn is saying that this is going to be the October surprise, as they are going to push, being back. They're going to push crypto, and this social security breach and the terror and everything else. Like, let's just go to a way more secure system, of course, but that is one more step towards a one world government. That has been the plan for how long, right? um and Putin is saying, hey, come over here. So, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I'll present to you a counter argument,
Okay.
because a lot of well, it seems that people in other countries tend to keep up with foreign elections more than U.S. citizens. So,
Yes.
so people in other countries, they yeah, they keep up with our election, and
Isn't it
they have
because
their
their
own.
leaders only change leave office when they die a lot of the time? They don't have like an election every 4 years, or am I
Well,
just
it
is that?
depends on which place, but most of the world pays attention to global conflict more than we do.
That's fair.
But so this is kind of the point of view I got from this Indian news source talking about this BRICS and de-dollarization.
Okay.
Okay, and it says, well, de-dollarization is a term that refers to countries moving away from reliance on the U.S. dollar as their primary currency for trade and savings. Currently, the U.S. dollar is a dominant global currency, holding about 60% of the world's financial reserves. This gives the U.S. significant control over the global economy. To reduce this dependence, some countries like India and Argentina have begun using their own currencies, or others like the Chinese yuan for international transactions. And Trump's advisors are concerned that dollarization threatens U.S. economic influence. They are considering measures to counteract this trend, targeting countries like Brazil, Russia, China, and South Africa, known collectively as BRICS. The BRICS nations have discussed creating a common currency to facilitate trade among themselves, aiming to reduce their reliance on the U.S. dollar. So this is Trump's potential countermeasures would include export controls, which would be restricting trade by limiting access to certain goods or technologies. Currency manipulation charges, which would be branding countries as currency manipulators to damage their economic reputations, or by imposing tariffs and additional taxes to make it too expensive for them to trade with us.
You
So
currency manipulator, you.
yeah, so most people are seeing these tactics as a well. They argue that this is a heavy-handed approach and undermines the principles of fair economic competition, and portrays the U.S. as a bully rather than a cooperative ally.
If that were actually true, then I'm curious why the U.S. has fought so hard to keep the dollar the global standard for well past its due date. Isn't America known
Because
for
we
being
hold,
bullies anyway?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So what's the what
So when
what's
I
changing then?
Well, you know what? I think we're onto something. I'm looking at all of these comments, and I think people are in favor of cheese. Like, look, like Baby Bells that are already tiny packaged cheeses. Yeah.
I'm
those would
really
be like
glad I could
pennies.
contribute to that discussion. I've
And
been
look, Lara says, who else is obsessed with the government mozzarella vault conspiracy? 1.4 billion pounds.
What,
Oh, really? It's more. I knew it was several
billion
million.
pounds?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I knew it was a lot, but I didn't know if it was into the billions yet or
How
not.
much does the Earth weigh? Does anybody know?
I don't know,
Weight
but
of Earth subtract pounds
cheese.
of cheese. If everyone jumped at once, if everyone in the world jumped at once, would the cheese move? Is the real question.
But I mean, like I said, I'm a cheese lover. It's I'm
Yeah,
okay.
I'm a big
I would
fan.
probably I would trade for cheese. I might even work for cheese. pay me, you know, so much percent of my
Bro,
salary in cheese.
dude, imagine. Okay, but check this out, right? If cheese became standardized currency, the demand for bread would skyrocket, bro. If we go to the cheese standard, invest in Wonder Bread. You will at least double your yield. Absolutely.
I don't know. I like to melt my cheese, like especially on tortilla chips. That would be my investment. More
Wonder Bread
corn, more
and,
tortilla. But I mean, I know we got off topic, but look, you can't eat a dollar bill. I'm just saying.
I've tried.
You're hungry. It doesn't do anything. Cheese. No matter where you are, you've got some cheese cash on hand. You're not going to die.
Like I said, you can't really leave it in the car or not. But if you found yourself trapped in a wintry blizzard, and you reach yourself for a little cheese coin, you might make it the next couple hours for rescue services to make it to you. So.
There you go.
Because they say, and I say that because they say that it's a really good idea to keep a spare $20 bill somewhere hidden in your car. That way, if you run out of gas or you need an emergency poncho or something, just in case you leave your wallet at home or whatever. And I think that sentiment, triples in value if we move to the cheese standard. I really do.
I'm too. And Lara says, also a really awkward PSA on YouTube. I hanker for a hunk's cheese. Yes, please make a video and share it with us. Have you seen the size of the cheese that man carries?
I'm going to change beauty standards and all that. Dude,
I don't know.
Oh my God, bro. Okay, hold on. No. Okay. So, back in the classical era, let me speak, sorry. The standard of beauty was like curvature, weight, rolls, fat rolls, stuff like that, because it was difficult to obtain because you had to be wealthy to do it. If we move to the cheese standard, it's a pretty high likelihood that we'll see that swing back around, You'll have wealthy cheese barons and all this, and they'll just be big dudes in suits with a vest that the buttons are just fighting to stay connected, Anyway. And then, wow,
and everybody would
what
be.
A man.
He's got the cheese. You can tell by looking at him, he's got the cheese.
Imagine the cultural implication too. You know how many hip hop rap songs right now are written about dollar bills and all that. Imagine what would be written after cheese became the global standard. I guess using the term cheddar would come back. Would make a circulation.
I like cheddar men. I don't. Yeah, this is so far off of where we started.
Yeah, that's my fault too. By the way, I'm really sorry about that.
Yeah. But hey. So this is the thing, though. I see all of this. This is what was horrifying to me, and then we're gonna get into some more news. Yeah, some politics, and then some really weird news that we talked about. Like, what the heck? But yeah, I see all of this as a setup. Okay. And that's me and my conspiracy mind. I see it as a setup for, the social security is a mess. We get hackers. Let's go to crypto. Let's have a one world financial system. Okay. One step closer, right?
So is the topic of pros and cons of the NWO off the table for tonight? Because I am a little curious, bring that up.
No.
Well, because I brought it up and then we kind of moved past it, but I saw some people in chat were like, no, I don't want that at all. And I'm like, well, let's see,
Because you would be forced to have the same religion. You wouldn't have freedom. You wouldn't have freedom to do stuff, whatever you wanted to do. You would have to. No, that's the. Oh man, I've got to find it. I have to find it on X, but it was all written down in the 80s. It's the New World Order, and that is one of the things is one world religion.
Well,
okay, go ahead.
Sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
Well, as a way to prevent one world order, right? Say that all these countries want to build an alliance together, except for the U.S. It's like, what is the U.S. supposed to do? Like, what are we supposed to do?
You mean, what do you mean? We
I
just,
mean, yeah. What I mean, if
there
you were
is no US. It's just the World Federation.
no, I'm saying if all these countries want to join up together, except for America, and really the only way America keeps its peace as the free world is by uh, being the most dominant kind of country as far as like the military and uh, economics.
I kind of agree with that. I mean, everyone wants to hate on the military industrial complex, but it's kept us, in a relatively nice equilibrium. What America could do is we could do what threatened. We can do what Texas threatened to do, like in 2012, and we can just secede from the rest of the earth. We can blow up our borders and push our, continent out into the middle of the ocean. That might work.
I don't
Cut
know.
off ties with Canada and Mexico, become our own.
Just kind of float away.
Yeah, Pangea 2.
But yeah, I mean, seriously, your freedoms, like, there's no individuality of nations. It's like somebody said in the comments: one world government, one world religion, one police force, one currency. Yeah.
So, and that's okay. So, which okay, I definitely want to talk about this. I want to talk about pros, cons, all of this theoretical discussion about New World Order or whatever. And we might want to just table that whole discussion for next week because I'm sure it can be endless. But I do want to talk about it a little bit. But before I do that, I'm curious. Like, so in light of today's news with the Social Security breach and everything. What were you kind of afraid of? You were hinting at you were hinting at a few cryptic things, and I just wanted to get your opinion on like where you wanted to land with that.
With what, the crypto or the?
Yeah, the whole. I mean, just the general discussion. Because we I kind of cut you off a little bit there, and we kind of lost track.
I mean,
for a few minutes.
It's there's not an easy answer to this because the world is so messed up. The banks are crooks. They haven't been to the gold standard. They print money. It's crazy. Just like Social Security, everything is a scam. And so on one hand, I'm like, yes, and my bank account, no matter what bank I've been with, has been breached before. Been hacked, and so you're like, well, crypto is potentially safer. I mean, there's a lot of checks in there. I mean, I'm not saying that a hacker couldn't do it, but it's not nearly as easy. So, I mean, I'm like, well, but then you come to, I know where it's heading. And that is to one world government. That is to, if you are a believer in the book of Revelation, then you're looking at, the whole one world system, what they term as the mark of the beast, and everything is, you have to be implanted with a chip, and it sounds convenient, especially when you lose your wallet or your debit card. But to be honest with you, it's horrifying. And
well, I think so there's a couple of things about that. Real quick before. Daniel Price said, quote, "We maintain dominance by meddling in other countries, creating destabilization, and keeping our boot on the necks of the world. America." Other empires that had that mentality fell. And I just wanted to ask Daniel if he would, if he has like any, suggestions or like ideas on like, how we can maintain this equilibrium, or what you think, or what he might think, America should do. But as far as the whole thing about, I don't know, end times, mark of the beast, the revelation, and all that, those were prophecies. So they're going to happen in one way or another. We could say, we can try to stave it off as long as possible. But if that is the direction that things are definitely going to land, then it's going to happen one way or the other. So being, kind of mortified about it isn't really but so the other part of that statement is that the culture of the world in this, like, this isn't something that's going to sneak up on people. If we reach a point, and because I don't know about being implanted with a chip, that sounds fine. I mean, that sounds like a reasonable connection, but that's not what Paul, it was Paul, right? Who wrote that? Or was it somebody else?
No, that was John.
John wrote Revelation.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right.
John the Revelator.
So, yeah. Okay. John. Paul wrote all the letters. Anyway, he didn't see microchips. He didn't see, he didn't know what he was saying. He could be, all he could do was draw, like, analogies or metaphors, or say this is what it looked like to him. If you've never seen a boat, what does a boat look like? You know what I mean? But that being said, we don't know what the world stage will look like. We don't know what culture will look like. I think, it's definitely fine to be concerned about it, but I think, like, the whole narrative that it's something to be deathly afraid of, and that it's, every step towards it is, like, worse and worse, and that, as soon as currency is worldwide accepted, the whole house of cards, like dominoes, are just going to start popping down. But every single stage is going to have several, at least a couple of years to come, especially when it comes to things like the individuality of nations and religion and individual cultures. Like, one world government is a cool idea, I guess, for if you are the government, but actually applying that is, theoretically it's and philosophically to a human standpoint, it's nearly impossible because of the uniqueness and individuality. So my question is, if I had to ask a question, what do you, if today we move to one world currency, then what? Like, what happens after that? What are you afraid of? What?
Well, the one world government, because the one world government that tells you when and how much and what they're going to do and what you're going to do as part of the New World Order plan. And I know you don't see it up there, but I came across it today in writing. Like, they don't want you to own anything. Like, you own nothing and you're completely happy. So they tell you what house to live in. Like, you don't get to choose. It's somebody telling you what to do. And that goes against every standard that the United States was built on.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. I see pros to, unifying currency, but I see, cons to the government side of it, and I don't know if, there's an ideal way to have your cake and eat it too, or eat your cake and have it too, rather.
I have argued with you and Jamboree both on, I am still for, I hate the way what capitalism has become, but that is not really the fault of capitalism in itself. I still believe that people who work hard should be able to have a chance to succeed. The harder that you work and you put in that, if I work 40 hours a week and I come home and, whatever, that's the standard. But if I work 60 hours a week, I should be able to get ahead. You know what I'm saying? But if we're all paid and we live in the place according to where they say, and we don't own anything, and you're taking away the inherent nature of a human is to strive to better themselves, a better shelter, a better, food, better whatever. And so you're taking away the heart of people. It's just like they become cattle. It's like, what's the point? What's the point of doing better?
I think the problem is that it's almost like an inherent flaw with free will, and in and of itself is that finding yourself at the top of the ladder, there's nowhere else to go. And if you want more, like we both kind of agree, humans always are trying to do better and all this. the only way you can get more once you have everything is to take from the people around you. And so the problem that causes with capitalism is that capitalism, by its inherent nature, is very competitive. And when you are, I mean, we've had laws put in place for, against monopolization and things like that, but we ran so quickly into the informational era that, the decrepit gentlemen in office weren't able to regulate any of this, like, data, basically every basically every aspect of it. The innovators were so quick to scoop up, like, we can take your data. This is how we can sell it. This is how we can, gather more data, that we can have data banks. We can convince you to give us your data for free, Facebook. And, the government really, like, no one was prepared. No one was ready. And so what's happened now is that I think in a lot of ways, governments are kind of chained to these innovators and these men at the top of the technological ladder, because they don't necessarily, there's a power imbalance. The owners and creators of these wonderful technologies, the government can really only do so much because the power kind of lies with the connections, and it lies with the monetary ability to move things, especially when you're running on a government that, like, somehow or another has been designed to make you more likely to be elected if you are funded better. I don't know what that's all about, but which is actually should be illegal, but whatever. So, I like capitalism as an idea. I agree that if you work 40 hours, you should be able to be fine. And if you work 60 hours, you should get a little extra. To me, though, that doesn't sound so much like capitalism as it does about, like, the golden dream of communism. But, communism doesn't work for the same reason. You get, like, 100 or 1,000 people at the top who, they're like, okay, we'll take everything and we'll redistribute most of it, some of it,
Yeah, well, China is a great example of communism and what a one world government would likely look like. You could argue that that the president of China would be the president of the world in a new world order, that China would end up running the world. That's more of a nuanced argument, but you can look at things like their social credit score that they have now, and now they have I forget, somewhere between 10 and 50 million, I forgot the exact number, of CCTV cameras that are placed on all down the roads, on poles, on buildings, everywhere, and they monitor everything you do. And now they're getting more advanced and more advanced to the point where they track even your eyes. They can track when they know when you notice the camera. They notice, like, if you tried to hide your face, and everything is around. It's like, I mean, this is another argument that the credit system in America is broken, but this is a social credit system. So just imagine that every aspect of your life, if it's not in accordance with your leader and his point of views, then you'll probably likely get a lower social credit score, and that will determine your quality of living, your safety net,
That's the hellish version of all. I mean, like, that's the hellish reality of, like, a one world government. And for something like that, I absolutely am like, hey, let's don't do that. And I guess it's like one of those things. It's like a gateway drug. Does combining the world's currency, lead you to, world domination kind of thing? Is that, like,
Yeah.
And, if that's the case, then I guess, it's worth fighting. And I guess that's maybe something that, Putin sees clearly. If he's so willing to change Russia's almost, like, inherent xenophobia to, gain allies or whatever to, fight that.
But it's also important to notice that America is also one of the top fighting dogs and pushing for this one world order. And maybe it's not the same. Maybe everyone doesn't have the same idea of one world order, but America certainly pushes for it. I mean, we want everyone in the world to be like us, and that's, maybe another reason why we want to keep the US dollar as the main global currency, because we keep control over most of the world. If we don't trade with them, they're broke, and they don't, their economy flutters without us, and they know that. So
I mean,
Yeah.
that's fair. That's true. You know, I yeah, yeah,
I wanted to address this comment by Samantha Springman. And nobody realized what the selfie craze was all about, computer facial recognition. And let me add to that, y'all people who Facebook, because I did this one time, and after I did it, I was like, that was dumb. Um, you know how you have the trends on TikTok and whatever? Every so often, I'd say every year or two, there is a Facebook trend where let's compare 10 years ago and today. Let's see where you were 10 years ago. And so you're supposed to do this challenge. You post a picture, like, or they'll say your first Facebook picture ever and your most recent, because that way they can see how you have changed. Because some people in the duration of Facebook have changed quite a bit. And I was like, hey, wait a second. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. Um, so I think facial recognition is, I think that was part of it. And then the rest of it is people are narcissistic and they like to see
yeah.
themselves.
Well,
So,
so that's like the saddest thing, man. Is it's the profitability of the. I keep using the word altruism incorrectly, and I'm actually looking for suggestions. But there's a for the word that I'm looking for. But there's like this kind of like inherent like beauty of being like a softness, like a sentimental kind of like attitude that people will hold towards how the years have passed, and looking at the past, looking past friendships and stuff like that. And I think the most disgusting part of the world that we live in is that these companies are just turning that into profit by data collection. And it's just kind of, it sucks, I think, because that's the reason I think most people do that kind of thing. Like even for as silly as the ALS ice bucket challenge was, somehow becoming like the third most donated cause ever or something like that.
yeah.
Despite being relatively niche. It wasn't even just about the disease itself, but it was a form of connection and community almost worldwide. And I think that's like a really beautiful thing. And then, companies are like, yeah, but how can I use this video to find out, where you live and your income standards and median, and, compare this to, it's like,
Right.
just the data collection for data dumps. It's so, it's just really gross. And someone mentioned that, it's not that the government is chained to, those things, but that they profit off of it. But it's a symbiotic relationship, and that's the thing that's scary, is that the government is not capable of designing these technologies, but the, designers are, and they're both able to, gather more power and all this, working together. And what hope does like the average citizen have? John Locke said, if the government ever gets to a point where, you don't, you think that you don't align with their ideals, or they're not, working for the people, it's your duty as a citizen to overthrow the government. I don't think that's an option. I don't think we're able to do that. Maybe if we all own, if we're back dealing with muskets, possibly. But
Well, this is something I talked about last week, is how they use so many different things. Like, this was a question I had asked the chat last week about how often people think that they use the government might use social issues like Black Lives Matter and transgenderism and like things that are inherently important, but that they use them as distractions to
Yeah, I used to talk about that all the time. Distractions and division. I mean, and it's
like you can't get anybody on the same side because everybody's too busy. Like, yeah, like you're gay and you're anti-gay. Like you know what I mean? But it's like, hey, we're all Americans.
Pro-choice, blue, red. The racial issues, the LGBTQ side of things, and yeah, I mean, absolutely. And the thing is, though, is even if Because in World War One, that's the way that we were able to stay in the fight, because the American citizens all gathered together and said this is important, and they all accepted their rations, and the women would sew. I forgot what exactly. We basically had no rubber, and the women would sew things for the soldiers, and the men were all fighting or whatever, and but today, like, what would we really do? Even if everyone agreed and we could all get together, like, what could we actually do? I don't think people would be strong enough to have loss and go without, so that they could stand up to an oppressive government. It's like the American people and the powers that be have to keep this equilibrium. Like, how far are we willing to allow things to go so that we can maintain,
at this point,
be comfortable?
The problem is so complex that it's that the general population has no idea about most things that go on, so getting people on the same side is the first step. Is you got to even make them understand your side, and it's so complex, and everybody's got their own opinions on so many things.
Well, speaking of division, okay, and I don't have anything pulled up there, but if y'all are on X, you'll see a ton of stuff.
So have you settled for calling it X? Because I don't think I'll ever be able to.
I
and if you look it up on Google, that's not where you're going to find.
It's going to be X Twitter.
Yeah, you type Twitter, it pulls up X. You type in X, it's like, huh? What are you looking for?
You type in X, and it pulls up a bunch of adult entertainment.
Oh my gosh! I just Googled it, but it didn't pull up that for me. So I don't know about you, but it pulled up things like Xbox and that kind of stuff. But anyway, no, talking about division. As I was looking through stuff today, and of course the news, y'all see where the DNC is starting this week, and there's so many protests out there. And I mean, I don't even understand. Like, okay, you're protesting because you think that the Democrats are not strong enough for LGBTQ. Did I miss a letter? Plus,
T.
You know what I'm saying? T. LGBTQ plus.
I had a friend. I'm going to just say this. I had a friend who used to call them the alphabet people, and I don't know if I agree with that statement or not, but it always made me laugh whenever I heard it. So
it is funny because they keep adding, but there are people literally dressed and let me say this right, reproductive rights. Make that right for YouTube. Reproductive rights. So you have people out there dressed as the morning after pills walking down the street, and they're all up in arms because they think that the Democrats are not strong enough on some of these issues. It's not like some of the protests where there was a big case going on or something in the news, and then I was watching these videos where they are finding big stacks of bricks put out in the city streets, just like, if you remember, back in 2020 during the riots, people were putting big things so they could do more damage and riot. And I'm like, okay, so we have people trying to start riots, and we have people protesting, and fine, you have the right to protest. I'm like, I'm not really sure that you're protesting the right people, but whatever. You're out there on the streets of Chicago. And I'm wondering, okay, they're planning for riots. It seems like they're setting up for riots. So what is going to be happening on the back burner? Because this is going to, like, all the mainstream media is going to be saying, look at Chicago. They're rioting and they're burning things. They're like that,
I thought that was just Chicago. I thought that you could just look at that anytime. And that's what you should see. No.
Yeah, I mean, but no, it's worse. So I'm like, now is the time, people, to keep your eyes elsewhere. Okay. Whenever you see something like this, it's like, okay, this is distraction. So what are they doing that's going to be reported at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. when nobody's watching, or they're not going to report on at all, or, one sentence reporting? Well, there is something. I mean, there are a couple of, there's so many things right now that are coming up. Mpox, Did y'all see where the GOP dropped this bombshell? I've got the news report here about how Biden is like they say he should be impeached because he's made all these deals with
Oh yeah, I've been saying
Ukraine
that.
and stuff. And I'm
I've been
like,
saying that for
okay,
years.
yeah, we knew that. We've known that for years. But let me see. I'll go ahead and pull this up. And this is from Fox News. But I'm like, okay, we've been talking about this for a long time, or some of us have been watching it. We already know this. So why is now the time? Okay, why is now the time? Well, I know we're in an election, but we already know he's not running. I'm going to share this for just a second. If I can get it to play.
Received more than $27 million from foreign individuals and entities since 2014. Lawmakers call it an impeachable conduct. Brooke Singman is in Chicago with this story. Brooke, good morning.
Yeah. Good morning, Ainsley. I obtained a copy of this 292-page report from House Republicans. They're on the House Oversight, Judiciary, and Ways and Means committees, and they've been leading this impeachment inquiry against President Biden for months. So they said...
Okay, I have to stop this, like, periodically because of copyrights. But, yeah. Okay, so now... the GOP, the GOP has had this report. Come on. All they had to do
Their investigation found that President Biden engaged in impeachable conduct and said he abused his office and, quote, defrauded the United States to enrich his family. Republicans revealed that since 2014, the Biden family...
I am shocked. Really? He did this to enrich his family? Who would have thought?
Family and its associates received more than $27 million from foreign individuals and entities. They also found that while Biden was serving as vice president, the Biden family got more than $8 million in loans from Democratic benefactors. And they say those loans have not been repaid. So this report says, in part, quote, as vice president, President Biden actively participated in a conspiracy by, among other things, attending dinners with his family's foreign business partners and speaking to them by phone, often when being placed on speakerphone by Hunter Biden.
Okay, I'm going to stop there just because the whole point of this is, if you've been watching the news and you've been looking at some of the alternative websites or even Twitter's had it all over it for years, like you said, Koaltun, for years. So why? Okay, you have to stop and ask yourself, they're not idiots. Well, we hope they're not idiots. So why are they bringing up this? And they're saying they actually filed a document about impeachment. And I'm like, okay, he's only got a few months. So tell me, one of y'all, whoever wants to say it first, why would they bring this up now when Biden is out the door?
I don't know. If you want to take the liberal website Reddit, they all seem to be pretty convinced that this was planned to be announced already and that Biden dropped out and that they're like, well, here it is anyway, but I mean, I don't know. Reddit is a fun place because they're all nihilistic, but they also don't have any good ideas.
I love Reddit. I do. I love Reddit.
I find that idea to be pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, that's not like when I say good ideas, I mean like, about how to, solve problems or, deal with situations. That is like, that is a somewhat reasonable explanation. But if that were the case, then why mention it at all? I think at that point, just, take your losses and let go of it. You know what I mean? I don't think that, because another thing is that they don't have any strong evidence. They just have these claims and they have hearsay and stuff. But apparently that's the main thing that they're lacking from all the articles that I could find about it. Is that they just don't have any.
Well, I mean, a lot of it goes through Hunter Biden, and that, Hunter Biden does all these deals.
But that was, look, I heard about Hunter Biden back in 2015, maybe 2016. There was tons of stuff out on the internet about him then. So my question is, all right, we know that Kamala, she says her name different ways. So I don't know if she knows who she is. But anyway,
She also gets really
Kamala,
offended if you say it wrong.
yeah, but then she does too.
It is-
Hey, Sleuthy. Um, but yeah, so we've got her. Okay, we're assuming, she's a shoe-in for the nomination. So what is the point of impeaching Biden now? He's like Daniel, was it Daniel? Who was that? Yeah, Daniel said a while ago, yeah, he's only got 5 more months. So we know that he's out.
If I'm not mistaken, don't they? If they impeach him, then Kamala becomes president, and it
Yes.
goes into a state. Wait, and there wouldn't be an election.
No, there could still be an election, but we have some other something coming up. And that would be, let me see if I've got an article pulled up about it. I don't. I thought I had it. The mpox. I think we can still, the monkeypox. I think we can still talk about that right now because it's,
hasn't that been a thing since forever?
yeah,
Like smallpox, weren't they called monkeypox?
not smallpox, but it's in the same family.
Similar.
Well, and it hasn't been that fatal before. But the World Health Organization, a few days ago, it was like on the 13th or the 14th, they declared it an international pandemic, the monkeypox. And so while it is not usually fatal, it is uncomfortable for sure. Of course, they're working on a vaccine at the moment. But now we're going to go down the conspiracy rabbit hole. And I say that lightly because I heard somebody say something yesterday and it made me really go, wow. He said, there really are no more conspiracy theories out there because all of the conspiracy theories that we had are now fact. And that is true. If you go, it's not, maybe not 100%.
I was going to say, I think on that list is dinosaurs helped build the pyramids. So
you don't know. You weren't there.
Fair enough.
But you don't know. Maybe that's how they got, but whatever. But here's the thing. Yeah, we're talking about everything that was high conspiracy theory in 2011. It's now it's fact. It's fact. So but the monkeypox. Now this is a new conspiracy theory, okay? But those who followed the other pandemic that we can't really talk about on here will remember that it was a simple virus that turned into a pandemic. So now they are blaming, of course, the conspiracy people are saying that Bill Gates is going to chemically alter this virus and make it much stronger and more lethal to make it a global pandemic. Now, I am not in. If we want to discuss that, I'll just tell you this. If we want to discuss that, we're going to have to go on to Rumble. And I do have an account. I haven't uploaded anything, but that is a whole thing. And that's the only really safe place to put that. But it is what it is. And so I'm like, okay, we've got all this stuff. We've got our Social Security, all our livelihood, our credit, our everything breached. Now everybody knows everything and they want you to get it straight at the .gov place, which I gave you the link. I'm not saying don't do it by any means. I mean, what else can you do? But then we've got all of this. Okay, 159 countries are saying, yeah, we're going to use the same currency. We're going to use the same thing. We're buying into this BRICS. You've got the gold standard going, or the banks they're trying to put that back to the gold standard, which is gonna mess up everything, cause massive problems. So crypto would be the answer. And now we've
Would
got.
it be the crypto standard? I mean, that wouldn't even make sense. I mean, isn't it?
I mean,
Is it finite, really? Like, I
I
mean,
mean,
if you run out of Bitcoin,
this is what the inventors of Bitcoin predicted, 12 odd years ago, or
what
that's fair.
that we would be forced into crypto.
well, yeah, that the central banking system would become so corrupt that it would be the best alternative, to say the
Well, they're
least.
not wrong. They're not wrong. But you've got all this, and then in the meantime, let's impeach our president and put this one. And we've got a new pandemic on the horizon. And when you're talking about stalling or, bypassing an election, if we had so much stuff going on at one time, and there were riots and there were all kind of stuff, and a pandemic, I believe that you could declare martial law. And in the case of martial law, plus we have all this stuff with we've got warships off of our borders, and we've got the whole thing with the Ukraine and Russia. It's a powder keg. If we were to go under martial law, then whoever is president at the time would remain in office until martial law is no more. So there you go. And that's my question. Is that where we're headed?
If that's where we're headed, are you saying that that's why the GOP brought it up about Biden, or does that?
Well, that's because I see no reason. I see no reason for them. Okay, because if you're going to have a regular election, Kamala either is going to win or not win. Okay, we haven't voted yet. You're going to have Kamala, you're going to have Trump. Either way, Biden is a lame duck, which he's basically been for 4 years, but people aren't acknowledging that. So
it is. I've definitely buried my head in the sand, but I've watched. I've seen a couple of things, and it is harrowing to think that he has been in charge of it.
I know,
clothing himself in the morning, even.
And it's like I've said, exactly. And I never have been a Biden fan, but I have worked with geriatrics with dementia and Alzheimer's and stuff for many years. And there are just certain, I can't even explain it. There are just certain looks, certain turns of phrase, certain actions. I looked at him when they nominated him back in 2020, and I'm like, he's got dementia. Why are they nominating this man with dementia? I mean, I think it was cruel. And again, I'm not a Biden fan, but I think it was terribly cruel. And so here's the thing. They want Kamala in early, it would seem, for a reason. But this comes from the GOP. Why are they it's like, okay, but what is your end game here? Like, it's not even the Democrats. So this is the Republicans. They're saying, okay, we want Biden out of office. Why? He's only got 5 months.
I guess the thing is that, you can look at all this dissent. You can look at all these, individual issues and say that they're creating a smoke screen that makes it difficult to see through. But I think realistically, the problem for us as citizens or people or whatever is, what would we do anyway? If we saw the plan, or we were like, and we all disagreed, I don't know. I don't see the American people rising up, really. I see maybe middle-aged, middle-class Americans rising up, but I see the majority of impoverished families ignoring it and continuing to try to survive. And the higher, the 1% or whatever would be, attempting to protect their own assets, and everything else. I mean, when it comes to ethics and morals, I mean, you got to be honest with yourself. Those things often fall in last place as far as self-preservation. So I don't think that the numbers of, go ahead.
No, finish your thought.
I just don't think, okay. Just finish your thought. Oh, sorry. Okay. No, you go ahead.
No,
I,
I was thinking because we're talking about the mpox and stuff. Let me just say this. I'm gonna have to say this very carefully, but there is a website, and I'm going to share that. I am not going to say the name. I am going to put it down in the comments, in the chat, and I am going to show you
is
this.
that better or worse?
No, this is a really important thing.
It's about COVID.
You can't say that.
Oh,
I love Coca-Cola.
Okay. I'm going to show you a website that you all need to look at. All right. I'm going to make this bigger. Really, really, really important. Okay,
Is this about the cheese standard?
The cheese standard. Yeah, it kind of looks like it. Look at that cow. Now, if you will see this, the name of this, and you can see in the link I gave you that it is got the name of a sickness. But these people right here are doctors, and I have not found anything on that website as of yet. I was looking just today about mpox, but I'm just telling you, when that time comes, you better know this website. Okay, it's very important, and it was very important the last time. And it is all doctors. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say about that. So make sure you bookmark that. Keep up with it. The beer virus. Yeah, you have to be careful. But yeah. So
Sorry. I just remembered. Never mind. Go ahead.
I'm looking at this whole thing, and it looks like a setup to me. It looks like a potentially. Now, do I think that people will rise up? Yes, I do, because there is a whole underground of people, and there were during our last shutdown. And through all this, there is an underground people on alternative news sites, websites. You'll figure it out. But there's a lot of stuff that gave you information far months or years before the government did on certain issues. So, and these people are the ones who are not having it. Now, whether they will be overtaken, I don't know. But do I think people will fight? Yes, there is a very large underground of people who have had enough. And I think they will stand up. I do. I do have faith that people will try anyway. And
I don't remember if I had told you this relating to the thing you were just talking about. But back in the day, the doctor, his name was Dr. Robert Malone. He had went on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he had made the original 7 mRNA vaccines patents, and he went on there right after he made them and went and told everybody how bad they were. Don't use them. There were things in it that were bad for them, but things that needed to be in it they couldn't put in there because of the FDA regulations and blah blah. But he went and talked, and you guys would enjoy it if you're medically minded. It's very specific terminology that I didn't understand all of, but
yeah, I did. Back in the day, I did study all of that, and I did know what he was talking about. There's a lot more to that, and also the testing procedures, which I can't talk about either. Again, if y'all want to talk about this, we can do a video on Rumble. But it's medically, it made very much sense. And some of the people that spoke out are not with us today. You know?
Where'd they go?
One guy that was in whistleblowing some stuff, he unalived himself by shooting. Oh, I can't say that word either. By
the old sewer slide.
The old pew pew in the back of the head.
Oh, what a classic case!
I mean, that's
stumbled
really
down the flight of stairs.
Right? Yeah,
from
several feet away.
The old back of the noodle from across the room. Good old fashioned slide from the sewer slide. I love that word. I don't know if that gets caught, but I think that's a fun way to say that, even though that's a terrible thing. It's a terrible, anyway, sorry.
You have to be creative sometimes. I like this. Samantha, I've never heard that. Freedom sticks headache.
That is
I love it. Yes, he had a massive headache in the back of his head from a freedom stick. Yeah, there you go.
Poor guy. Hope he took some ibuprofen or something.
But yeah, it's horrifying. That's why I dropped that one link just so y'all know. You come back and say, what was that? Just go ahead and bookmark it, because it might come up in the future. But yeah, I don't know. I started.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. I mean, I just started this morning saying, we've had a security breach. That's bad. And then I tumbled and I was like, oh, why? When you keep saying why now? Why? Okay.
You sound like a 12-year-old. Why are we not going to McDonald's? You can't afford it. No. Why? Well, because I don't make enough. Why? Well, because I made poor decisions in my education. Why? Oh, because I met your father. Why? I don't know, because God hates both of us. I don't know what. No, that sounds.
I'll be right back. Give me 30 seconds.
Okay.
Oh, we'll see you.
Yeah. So anyway, I think it's good to have a productive discussion, and maybe I hope none of this is related, and I hope none of it's true, because I don't want to think that this is where we're headed. But, being the person that I am, that questions, like the 12-year-old questions everything. That's me. It is still. Why?
Yeah.
Why now? Why him? Why her? Why this, puck situation? So yeah.
It could also benefit you to ask how, provided you can find out.
Yeah, that's harder to find. When the answers only bring more questions, it's a diversion or an agenda. Yes, it is. Definitely. So that was my rabbit hole today, and then I found another article that is completely unrelated. But
I thought all answers inherently led to more questions. Is that just me, or?
Well, I don't think people question enough.
I mean, I know that's a fundamental reflex that I have, but I just figured that was natural. I mean, the more questions you have answered, the more questions you have then after that, unless.
Well, some people turn off their brain. That's the thing. You have one question and people answer it, and you're like, oh, okay, but they don't go any further. Oh, well, then how? Or, yeah, they don't go past the initial. And I would say that's the majority of people. They just don't question. And so, it's good to be that 12-year-old. Just keep saying, why? And, I think if nothing else, we have decided that we should have a cheese currency, and I'm all for it. Before we go on to the next topic.
I wonder, see, as far as just my this is what I've noticed from my own personal experiences with my friends and stuff, and just people my own age. I noticed that most people don't care about. Most people have never cared about politics until the last 2 months, and suddenly everybody's an expert on it. But how do you get anyone to care? Like, what? Because in my experience, the average American doesn't know about anything that goes on. Maybe they would care if they knew, but
Yeah.
I mean,
Because,
go
but
ahead.
think about it. I'm sorry. I just keep interrupting. But you think about the normal human life. Goes to work, comes home, you fix supper, you're stressed, you just want to
watch your
decompress.
TV show and
Yes, you turn on Netflix or a sitcom or and you do that till bedtime and you really don't look that much at the news and you see the highlights so you can talk about it at the water cooler.
and
You
the
know.
other group of people are so annoyed at the fake news everywhere. They're like, where do I even find what's real? Like if I wanted to know what's real, I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I started in 2011 and it took a bit of research, but I found stuff. I found stuff all over the place and I'm like, Now I never watch the news. I look at the news headlines to talk about it for stuff like here, but I go to other places for the news to see what's actually happening. What's really going on? Yes, Daniel, society has been dumbed down. Easier to divide and conquer. Absolutely. It's, if you keep people stressed enough or entertained enough, either way, either their their brain, their stress level is they've had it and they're just going with the flow, or they're so entertained they're not even looking, not even at mainstream, so they don't know what's
Yeah.
going on.
I get all my news from The Onion, personally.
Oh no.
Yeah. Here's a compelling article here. Gun owner explains why he needs weapon to protect himself from the gun he is currently holding to his own head. I think that is pretty profound.
That sounds like The Onion. I like the Babylon Bee better, for not real news.
Great news, wonderfully accurate and powerfully honest news.
So, Maida, it's the Onion, if y'all don't know, is the National Enquirer of the internet. Okay, it's craziness. It's craziness.
And for those of you who don't know what the National Enquirer is, like me, it is literal fake news, but in a very entertaining way, I think.
It is entertaining. It is completely fake, though. So
my favorite type of content to consume every now and then is Ate the Onion. People who see an Onion article headline and they're like, "There's no way this is true. This can't be allowed. We need to write our government. It's just crazy." I love those.
Yes, hi, Wi-Fi. We talked about that too. You'll find out what's really going on in the U.S. if you watch other countries' news. Sky News Australia is great. RT News is that's Russia TV. I don't even know. I haven't watched them in a while, but get outside of the U.S. and look at it. All right, but I am going to share this because this has nothing to do with the current situation, but dang it, if it wasn't interesting.
I didn't look into that at all because I didn't think that was going to be on the docket for the evening. So,
well, I thought we would finish up with something that's just kind of mysterious. All right, just like I don't get it.
I myself spent way too much. I spent way too much time looking into this one.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Well, good, because I didn't. And I'm not saying it's directly related, but you don't know. We don't know what they're doing. The powers that be, we don't know. So I'm going to
Laura says, "Ooh, is it another metal one? What have I been missing? What's going on with these metal structures appearing from
Yes.
Man, that's supposed to be the thing that I care about the most, but I wanted to be reasonably prepared.
Yeah. Wow. Here is another. I didn't even know there was one monolith appearing. All right. I didn't know there was one. But here's another one. And this is dated June 26th of this year. Appeared near Las Vegas. Who's behind these mysterious objects? Like they just show up, right? Colton, tell us about because you said you looked into it. So what's up?
Well, I don't want to take away from your article. I could give you like kind of the rundown of how we got here.
Okay. Well, let me just look for just a second.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll fill you in. Go ahead and
Yeah, and stop me if you need to put a comment in here. First, it was Utah, then Romania and California, Spain, Wales, Paraguay. Those see like random, random locations around the world. All right. So nobody actually sees these people putting them up, though, right? Like
So
they
they're
just
so they're art installations or something, but they're not sanctioned or not allowed or.
well, the police say they don't know who's responsible or how it got there.
So wait, what is it? Wait, did we skip a part?
Well, yeah, I was just trying to hit the highlight.
Oh yeah, this part where it says because this is a big theory of this is one of the big theories. This says often evocative of a space fiction movie prop, the mysterious objects captured the public's attention and frequently drew crowds hoping to catch a glimpse of the bewildering columns. And a lot of people are drawing comparisons to from these monoliths to the film 2001: A Space Odyssey. And in the film, the monoliths are symbols of extraterrestrial influence and evolutionary milestones.
Oh, really?
So they're saying the aliens are doing this?
Bro, who was that guy who had like he was crazy conspiracy? God, I forgot to write his name down. He was like at the time he was a crazy conspiracy theorist, and then a lot of his conspiracies actually turned out to be pretty based. But one of them was that the government was run by lizard people of some kind.
What?
Yeah. So I wish I remembered his name.
The lizard guy, the reptilian guy that talks about the reptilians all the time, David Icke.
Oh, I don't know if that's him.
I always hear Mark Zuckerberg referred to as the lizard man.
I've heard that too.
I mean, but that's like that's like you just look at him and you're like, well, that's not a person in there. What is that? This is some advanced robot model. Oh man. Anyway, remember? Did you guys ever see the video when when Meta was competing for the market share on VR headset competition, and he had this whole Facebook video ordeal where he sat down on a bed.
Oh yeah,
he was being interviewed. He has never looked more unnatural and unhuman than that video. He's just sitting completely still forever. It's like he doesn't even look like a lizard, although I expected his eyes to blink sideways.
I know what you're talking about because in that same interview, he was talking in his living room or something in his office. And on the bookcase, there was something super obscure, like a jar of pickles or something.
No. That wasn't the same. That wasn't the same interview. That was a long time ago. It was he had a bookshelf, and using it as a book stop was a bottle of unopened barbecue sauce, like Ray's barbecue sauce, just in his background. That's a surreal moment.
So that caused quite a bit of speculation about this guy is not a human being.
All right. Hello, fellow humans. I'm here to talk about my social networking platform, Facebook. As you'll see clearly, I have partaken in barbecue sauce.
Anyway.
Okay. Anyway. This says the first monolith appeared in Utah in 2020. All right. So it was out there with the sheep, and there it was.
Well, that's That's not actually true. The first time it was cited was in Utah in the Red Rock Desert, but it's 10 to 12 feet tall, and it was discovered by a team of biologists conducting a helicopter survey.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what? I was looking for something.
What?
What?
The first one was discovered by a team of biologists conducting a helicopter survey.
Wait, hold on.
So they were just like looking at the valley and the terrain.
Yeah,
and
so most all of these monoliths have been found in weird places like hillsides or deserts, just places that, like, that's why it's caused a lot of speculation.
My stupid ADHD brain said, why are biologists inspecting helicopters? What kind of survey are they running for helicopters? Shouldn't they be looking at the ground or something?
I kind of thought that's where your brain was going, so that's why I said what I said.
I appreciate that. I really do. I was like, well, someone explain this to me.
Wait, Daniel Price said in the movie that a lot of people are referencing this too. Every time a new monolith was found, there were 3 or 4. It led to a new leap in human evolution.
So, what kind of evolution? Like,
I'm not sure, but this Daniel Price guy, he's had a lot of interesting things to say today.
yes, he always does. Daniel always says interesting things. But yeah, let me go back to there. Okay. The U.S. Bureau of Land Management said later that month, excuse me, I got the hiccups, that the monolith has been removed over Thanksgiving weekend by an unknown person or group. Tire tracks and human waste had been left behind.
I'd not read about that.
And more than one vehicle had to be towed out. I hope it wasn't.
Imagine a dude in a tweed hat and the big old magnifying glass.
Looking for clues. It seems humans were here.
And
I need to put this in the evidence locker.
I hope that they weren't stuck because of the human waste, like the vast amounts of it. I don't know. They had to be towed out. They didn't specify, so I don't know.
The question isn't why is it here? The question is why is there so much?
I don't know. No.
Exactly. I mean, but so they put it there and they took it out, had to be towed out. And, look, in their defense, there's no bathrooms. Like, what you going to do? I mean, when you got to go, you got to go. I mean, come on.
I mean,
who's going to see you out there except the people you're with? I mean, anyway, in the days and weeks that followed, monoliths began to pop up around the world. Atop a California mountain, in the ruins of a Spanish church, and on the hills of a New Zealand adventure park. Now, why in the ruins of a Spanish church? That seems incongruent to the rest of these places, doesn't it? I mean, the rest of them are like kind of out everywhere, but this is in the ruins of a Spanish church. So it's like, why there? I don't get it. But a monolith that arose in the Romanian city of Piatra, I don't know how to say that, was welcomed by the city's mayor, who joked about the object's puzzling origins in a statement on Facebook. My guess, I love this. Like, it is, like, really? My guess is that some naughty, terrifying alien teenagers left home with their parents' UFO and started planting metal monoliths around the world.
This is the mayor, by the way.
Yeah, the mayor.
Oh, okay. Oh, the mayor said that.
Like, boy. It wasn't. That sounds like a Reddit comment, right?
I hope to God he winked or something after he said that. I mean, I don't know. That's crazy to think like, some other alien culture, their vandalism would be like reverse vandalism. Like, we're going to add these beautiful things and they're going to be so pranked when they find it. And they'd be, I don't know.
Right.
I hate that they're just saying, There are art installations, but we don't know about what, in reference to, symbolic of what, done by who, when it was constructed, when it was brought here, or anything about the artist. But it's definitely an art installation. Like that's like it's more like a like a phenomenon or something. But
Okay, Samantha says the monoliths are on ley lines. Did you read that, Colton, anywhere?
On ley lines?
Uh-huh.
No.
we have stud detectors. When are we going to come out with a ley line detector?
These are I'll tell you the three biggest theories that I've found.
Okay, go ahead.
Are most common ones. One is that they're art installations by one of them was the Romanian one was created by local artist Alex Chinek, and another one is that they're culture references like the movie. Another one is that they're social media influences like after these started going viral, that maybe someone had made it in hopes to maybe go viral, catching the trend, or contributing to a viral trend. But I also read that many of them were quickly removed by the authorities or people that installed them, and that was less dramatic than their appearances. So I don't know how many are left.
Well, you have to be.
But I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the more recent ones were placed after it became such a big viral phenomena.
But aren't they, massive structures? Aren't they like huge?
10 or 12 feet, yeah. And I think it's like a foot or a foot and a half wide on each side.
Or, they could have really been placed by naughty, terrifying alien teenagers who, Kelly says it's to raise our frequency. I just don't know. It's such a weird thing to put somewhere. I don't know. It's like it seems like it would have a meaning. Like, does it mean something to somebody somewhere?
10 or 12 feet. I guess I saw the thumbnail, this image in passing, and I misunderstood. It's got this helicopter that looks tiny next to it, and then I forgot about perspective. So.
I don't know. How heavy are the monoliths? I don't know.
They probably are hollow, right? Or
I don't know. I don't know. But the thing is why, if you're an artist and you just want to show your craft, they are very interesting. But why would you put them out somewhere that potentially they wouldn't be seen for years, if ever, if they're very remote, unless you're out there in the valley and you have to make a pit stop? I don't know.
Yeah. But I thought that this was like a building, like a skyscraper, because
that's literally what I thought when I first seen it. I was like, that is.
But then you said 10 or 12 feet, and I was like, oh, it's just far away. The helicopter is just further away, and I felt so stupid.
No! When I originally saw it, I thought it was like 2 feet tall. Until I looked.
Oh, really?
Closer. Yeah.
I thought it was like I said, a skyscraper or something. I don't feel like a very smart person.
I don't know. I don't either, because I just found out about them. I didn't even know they were anywhere. To me, it just seems like a lot of work for. For it to be so remote. Like if one appeared, in Manhattan, I would say, that would be different. You'd get a lot of questions. You'd get a lot of people talking about it. But like out in these remote areas, what is the point?
Yeah. Someone mentioned, if it was really for art, then, if it really was an art installation, then why are they so hard to find, Like, they were only found by chance most of the time, which is, I guess, cool. If they have any real purpose, that means that there's a lot of them probably hidden. I think the cool thing is that they've got, like they're all, reflective, like they're mirrors or whatever, so that they
probably
I guess really hard to find.
Probably what you need to do Bungler is if you really want to find the monoliths, then use Randonautica and make that your intention. Uh, Fine.
Use
I want to
what?
Randonautica. Isn't that what it's called? Randonautica?
I don't know what that
I
means.
don't, I don't either.
Are you, oh my gosh. Y'all are not. Oh my gosh. Look, how do I know about Randonautica and y'all don't?
I don't
Okay,
know.
it's this app. Randonautica is an app on your phone and it gives you coordinates. Okay. But it's not just, it's supposed to be random coordinates, but you have to set your intention and you have to, there's like three different things you have to do. You have to say something like, you have to think this in your head. You pull up the app and you're like, okay, within 5 uh, miles or, 1 mile, I want to find something magical. Or in a lot of cases, people have said, I want to find something dark and I am looking for death. So you set your intentions.
They just find a graveyard in a cave or something?
What's really crazy is people have found literal dead bodies. And
Really?
yes, one was they
That
were
are buried or unburied?
unburied, and one was in a suitcase and on a shoreline. And so these three teenagers are out and they're using their Randonautica. It's like a step up from what was that thing? The Pokemon Go. Well, this one,
Oh yeah.
that was really for kids, although I played it and I caught many a wild weedle, but that's really nothing to brag about because they're easy to find. But but I had fun with it. It was, exercise. And then Randonautica, these kids were out and they had a dark intention or something like that. I can't even remember. There's a TikTok or there's even YouTube videos about it. And they see this suitcase just sitting on some rocks by a lake, and they're like, well, that's weird. That's a weird thing. And then they get up closer and they're like, oh, God, it smells horrible. And so they call the police. It is literally a victim that had been stuffed into the suitcase. But many people have found, go on YouTube and watch some people play Randonautica. And I listened to the creator. The creator of it is a woman. And she's like, oh, no, it was just designed. Well, the reason I say that is because a lot of the tech
I wasn't sarcastic.
I
just didn't want to be loud.
But she's like, oh, we just wanted people to get out and maybe see things in their areas or their communities that they weren't aware of, and people have found the weirdest crap on Randonautica. I have never downloaded it because I watched these videos first and I'm like, people are saying like there's an element of witchcraft in here because it's so accurate at times and it's so bizarre. But she's like, oh no, they're just random coordinates. And I'm like, there's that X factor though, because you're setting an intention. Like you have to hold the device and you're like, okay, I want to find something dark that
I've been playing that game for years already though. I just hold my phone and be like, okay, I want to find hot local moms in my area, and I get asked for it all the time. It's like everywhere I look, I'm constantly running into them. So I mean no, but that sounds like it sounds like oh God, I can't remember any of the names. Like geocaching, but using law of attraction or something like that. Or
yeah, I think
like,
it is kind of
like using like your metaphysical energy or some sort to. But how? I guess the question is like, how is the app designed to be able to handle the processing of such supernatural information? Unless the app was built with a consistent intent, with that to be the case. It's so strange to me. How do you make that possible?
I don't know. I do think it has something to do with law of attraction, or something. There is a metaphysical component, in my opinion, based on people that I've seen. And I'm like, should I try this? Should I just ask it for like fun, funny, happy, good things? I'm not going to get on there and ask for something dark, but I don't even want that. It's kind of fun. If you really think it's just a game, it would be fun. I loved Pokemon Go. But the Randonautica is scary. It's like somebody said in the comments. Yeah, Michelle said it is very, oh, my mouse. I'm trying to highlight that one. Yeah, she said it's scary. And yeah, y'all should check it out. It's very interesting. So that's what I was going to say. Like, so can you get Randonautica and, your intent is to find a monolith?
I don't know, but that sounds like I don't know where everyone hears about so many things. I need to find more news sources, but I know this is the first I've heard about that. I feel like around, the area that I'm in, I would probably just find myself on other people's property. I think that's the only place I would be able to, let me find the angry owner of this. Get off of my lawn! Yes, I can't believe it worked. I mean,
Lara says it's no scarier than an old-fashioned Ouija board if that calms you.
Oh, that absolutely doesn't. And yet, no, I want a pet ghost. I'd feed it.
Hey, on my other channel, there's a lot of people that have ghost cats, and I've always said, hey, that is, I could deal with a ghost cat, like no litter box, like, seems like less trouble.
Because cats always try to wake you up when they're hungry. And because it's a ghost, it would always be hungry. And so you'd always be sleeping and you just feel like a right in the face.
Eat? I don't know. What do I know? But, yeah. Well, I know that you haven't had a whole lot of experiences around here. Maybe it's because I live in the haunted room. I don't think it's the worst haunted room, though. I think the parlor is. But, if you want a pet ghost, just come hang out over here by me. And maybe one will go home with you.
Hopefully. I'll have my desk and all that facing out the window, maybe hopefully I'd see like a figure or something, dark, shadowy, something or another. But anyway, I definitely gonna check out Randonautica. Someone mentioned maybe we should make a YouTube video about doing it. I might do that on my own time, but because I've been every time I read something Laura says, I get distracted. I've been driving around. We have already been down this road. She said it was Laura, like from Laura Croft, and then you said that was Lara Croft or Lara something else. Actually,
no,
it was someone else.
Okay, Lara, didn't you say it was like? I said it's like.
And
Lara
then we ended, and she's like, "I prefer the mystery." Yeah, I mean, she's like, "Yeah, not knowing is the best outcome for me." I'm like, whatever. So
I don't know. I've thought about Randonautica, but I'm really afraid that I might open doors. Like, even if I set my intentions for good, what if you opening doors you don't want to open? Like, there's plenty of doors around here. Okay, we don't need any more doors.
I don't know.
I would suggest this: go on YouTube or TikTok or somewhere and just look up Randonautica. And then when you watch a lot of videos, then decide if you want to do Randonautica. I that's what I did. And I thought, no, I'm good.
Can you do, be something like within 500 feet of me, find something interesting and just look around. I'm like, nothing here. Find me a ghost 500 meters with me. If that works, that'd be pretty fun. Like,
no.
You go get some ghost hunters with EMF readers and all that, and be like, all right, within 2,000 square feet of this Victorian era plantation home. Find a ghost. Oh no, it's in the living room. I don't know.
Anyway, but that is. Does anybody have any? I know y'all have said a whole bunch of stuff tonight. Anything that we need to touch on before we? Because we've been going.
Laura just said something about it being slightly less scary than Bloody Mary, and so I just wanted to ask, have you guys ever done that thing?
I think I did as a little kid, but nothing happened. But then again, I think about all the ghosts I've seen. I'm like, huh.
I did it, but
nothing happened.
Yeah. So you did it, and then nothing happened, but then for the rest of your life, you've been haunted and followed by ghosts.
Yeah.
Said, I don't know how this happened. Also, by the way, Laura, I did look up that statue. It's awfully green, which is, if I had been being constantly alluded to being a lizard person, I probably wouldn't choose a green statue. But it is what have you guys seen? You know what I'm talking about? Mark Zuckerberg got I actually saw this on
okay, pull it up and put it on your screen because you can do it easier than I can.
I'm trying. It's a little difficult. It's a bit of a process, but let's see here if I can do this.
I have not seen that statue. Oh my.
Yep. I don't know how to get rid of that.
Why did they make her green? Is she a lizard too?
It's old what's his name? Zucker. Okay, wow, what a tiny poor image, but yeah. It looks like it's corroded copper from like the Statue of Liberty, how it turned green. It kind of looks like that. This is the worst image to zoom in on, but I can't find an actually high res image to go through.
I think that's weird.
But. It is, isn't it? If you had been again, but it is pretty ugly. It is just.
She's not ugly. It's
no.
I like the color. It's just weird.
Is there any explanation of why she's dressed like a Roman emperor, or why her feet seem to be melting into, her body? I don't know. It looks like a puddle of goo.
So yeah, I literally cannot find a single high res. Let me see. Let me find anything like that, like an actually good image.
Laura said he had the high res scrub due to the ridicule.
Oh, okay. I actually think I found a go in here.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That one's a little bit better. So she's walking in water type of deal, I guess, or walking on it or through it, and she's wearing like a robe against the wind or something. I love the interesting. It's almost like a dichotomy between the beauty of the the expression of the statue and then the woman it's portraying, just I'm outside and I'm off today. I don't know. But I do like that she has a coffee cup that matches the color of the skin.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cute. But
it's art for sure. I don't know if I'd want to be green.
This is art, I think. Yeah, no.
Danielle says she was playing in aluminum foil when she was frozen to stone by Medusa.
Oh, no. See that?
That makes some sense.
I don't know how art works. I'm not smart enough to be able to see it between the lines like that. I actually don't understand any art at all, especially sculptures and stuff, unless it's like overtly, telling me exactly what it's trying to say. Like a man stabbing.
It's Samantha says it's a water fairy.
Is that right?
Hiawatha says he wrapped her lizard arse in gold. Yes. Well, whatever. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess my honest opinion is that it's as beautiful as it is unsettling. You know, like it's there's certain beauty to it, like the cut and everything, and I like the idea of using like that corroded metal type of thing covered with the more aluminum chrome kind of thing, and you know that's cool and all, but like it's also like really uncomfortable to look at, you know. And I don't know, if someone made a statue of me like that, I would be really, I don't know. I would want to be like, oh, that's thoughtful, but then I'd be like, oh God, I hope that wasn't very thoughtful. You know, I hope they weren't thinking of me too much when they made this.
Yeah, because I don't know. It is well done. I mean, her face is very pretty. I don't get it, but the color, but
he's got nothing to spend it, nothing better to spend his billions on. You don't understand. That's pure emerald stone right there, and that that chrome is actually space age alloy. I don't know. Something stupid.
I don't know. Something.
I don't know either.
All right. Well, so now y'all know. I really wanted everybody to know about the data breach in case you haven't heard. Know what to do about it, and but to keep your eyes open. And if your eyes are open, you might see a monolith. I don't know. I'm trying to fit it all together somehow. Oh, and you know, impeach Biden, whatever. Any final thoughts, Koaltun?
No, we talked about a lot.
We did.
Yeah. Next week, I'd like to. I guess if anything else, you know, pops up this next week in terms of news, we can talk about it. But I kind of wanted to talk about like the implications, or like talk about like pros and cons of like the whole global currency thing and what Putin's up to and all that. That'd be a fun topic to kind of, you know, dive into a little bit, because
I'm glad that's not my last name. I'm just saying.
What?
Putin.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, it's just asking for trouble. Okay, it's just asking for trouble. I'm going to set my intentions on a monolith, Lara. And so, there you go.
I remember when like photos of Putin where he was like shirtless on horseback, and he was super proud of this photo shoot that he had, and everyone ridiculed him for being like weirdly like homoerotic, and then he like deleted the image from everywhere he could, and he was like arresting people. Very strange.
Yeah. Well, you know, I guess he wants to overcome the stigma. I don't know. All right. I hope everyone has a lovely evening. Hope you learned something, or maybe you were entertained by our cheese, our cheese currency or something. Anyway, I am going to say goodbye to Brian Bungler and Koaltun, and I'm playing the end of this, but I don't have an ending, so it's going to say it's starting shortly, but maybe it's going to be
just like last time. The thing that's starting is the beginning to the rest of your evening, so we'll
yes, it's starting soon. All right, from my point of view, stay silky, and I don't know what they want to say.
Goodbye. Have a good one. See you later.
Right. Bye.